Ladies and gentlemen, we are with the one and the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Maxwell. John, thank you so much for being part of this challenge and joining this organization and helping them have the breakthrough that they're looking for.
I'm excited to be with you, Eric, and I'm excited about what you're doing and how people are responding so well to, reaching their potential and being all they can possibly be in the business.
Yeah, thank you so much. And how many books have you written now?
80 some, 80
some.
maybe 86. I don't know. It's in the 80s.
I feel so bad about myself. I've written one. I just feel like a poser. It's just,
first of all, if you're going to write 86 books, first of all, the first thing you have to be is old. I mean, if you're not old, you can't write that many books if you're not old. So, I qualify age-wise, and since I had nothing to do, I've just been writing books.
Well, you have helped. Yeah, come on. You have helped so many people tap into their leadership. And over the course of this 7-day challenge that we've put people through, and that so many people are having big results, what I hoped you could share with them is how to effectively lead themselves and how to manage their time, what they can do on a daily basis in order to be more successful in their business. You're amazingly qualified. I just want to sit back and listen, and I'll let you take it from there. You have the stage, sir.
Thanks, Eric. And I just want to say thanks for letting me be with you. I always enjoy our time together. I just am grateful for how many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people you possibly affect by your message and your leadership. And so whenever I can partner with you, come alongside, add value to you. See, when I add value to you, I'm like multiplying value to everybody else because your stream just expands and goes out. So thank you for your great work. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for this opportunity. And I am very excited to talk to each one of you right now about what I call everyday essentials. When Eric just a moment ago talked about managing time, I've never done a time management course in my life. And there's a reason. I really don't think that I can manage time. I think, let's put it this way: time goes on whether I manage it or not. I don't have to say, boy, I hope we can get another hour here in our day. No, it's time. What I need to do is instead of managing my time, I need to manage my priorities. And I need to really ask myself, what are the everyday essentials? And I think in business that you're in, when you have no one maybe right over on top of you as far as these are the things that you do and these are the times that you do them, I think when you get a little bit of free time, all of a sudden you begin to ask yourself, okay, how can I maximize my time? Well, I maximize my time by understanding my priorities. And I wrote a book about a year ago called The Power of Five. And I wrote it for the direct marketing group of people because I love so much what you do. I love so much how you help people. I've just, honestly, you're right at the top of my list as far as favorite people, because every day you work hard at adding value to others. And what I want to give you now is something that will add value to you, because it adds value. It'll add value to the people. Eric talked briefly about helping us to manage ourselves or lead ourselves. The ability to prioritize your life is one of the signs that you have learned how to lead yourself. Now, let me just start just real quickly and say to you that when people ask me what my greatest challenge in leadership is, I always tell them, like, my greatest challenge in leadership is leading me. It's not leading you. My gosh, I mean, I can tell my team what to do and give them a vision. That part is easy, but for me to flesh out, to live out the priorities so that everybody else on my team can see it. Remember, leadership is highly visual. People do what people see. Nobody ever followed an unknown, unseen leader. They don't. And so leadership is everything about being an example, visualizing, fleshing out what you want. And so when I lead myself well, it sets my team up for them to do really well too. Just as if I lead myself poorly, honestly, there's no shot that my team is going to succeed at all. So let me tell you a quick story that'll give you the foundation, and then I'm going to give you the five essentials I think that you want to have in this business to be successful. But first of all, the story. If I have a tree in my backyard and I want to cut it down, and I have an axe, if I go out, pick up my axe, go to that tree, and if I swing that axe 5 times at that tree, okay? Put the axe down, go back in the house, next day, go pick up the axe, go to the same tree. Every day, I pick up the axe, go to the tree, and every day I swing 5 times, put the axe down, back. Every day, 5 times. It's just 5 times, okay? Not 50, not 5,000, just 5 times. Taking that axe, swinging that tree. If I do that every day, okay, what's eventually going to happen to that tree? You know the answer. It's going to fall. If it's a big tree, this may take a few years. If it's a smaller tree, I don't know, maybe a couple of months. I don't know. But here's what I know. If every day I pick up the axe, go to the same tree, swing 5 times, just 5 times every day, eventually that tree will fall. Okay. Let me give you the essence of the story, and let me apply it to where you and I are in our daily life. In this story that I just gave you, 5 things need to happen for me to succeed in knocking that tree down. Number one, I have to know what I want to accomplish. And that's where we all start. You have to know what you want to accomplish, okay? And what I want to accomplish is I want the tree to fall. I want to cut the tree down. So the first thing I've got to do is in prioritize my life is absolutely know what my big picture goal is. Okay, that's number one. The second thing I need to do, though, to be successful is I have to have the right tool. If you notice, what did I do every day? I went outside and I picked up an axe. Well, an axe is going to cut that wood. And I pick up an axe. Now, I didn't pick up a baseball bat. Now, I probably have a baseball bat, and I suppose I could go out to that tree and I could swing that baseball bat 5 times at that tree every day. But here's what I know. With the wrong tool, a lot of work, a lot of hard work still won't make me effective. I've got to have the right tool. And so when people talk about how hard they work, many times I want to call timeout and say, let me ask you a couple of questions. And one of the questions I'm going to ask them is, talk to me about the tools you have. What are the resources that you use that allow you to accomplish what you want to accomplish? Cut down the tree, I've got to have an axe. So I've got to know what I want to accomplish, and I have to have the right tool. But there's something else that has to happen. Number 3, I have to take action. It's just very simple. If I go out and sit on the porch and say, boy, I'd like to see that tree cut down, and wow, I think I've got an axe over there that I believe I could use that as tool. Nothing happens until you make something happen. You got to take action. The only way that you can have traction is to get action. My dad, Eric, when I was a kid, he'd look at me and say, okay, John, 5 frogs are on a log. 4 decide to jump off. How many frogs are left? 1, Dad. No, 5. 5 frogs are still on the log. He said, son, just because you decide to do something doesn't mean you did it. You got to do it. And so action is right in the middle of these 5 things, because I'm just here to tell you, well, my mentor, John Wooden, used to tell his ball players, don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do. And he'd say, John, nothing happens till my players show me. They got to show me what they're going to do. So this power of 5 is just very simple. I have to know what I want to accomplish. I've got to have the right tool. And when I know those 2 things, I've got to take action. I've got to take action. Now, number 4, I have to stay focused. If you noticed in the little story, every day I went to the same tree. Took the tool, swung the axe 5 times, same tree. Now, let me ask you a question. What would have happened if instead of going to the same tree, I got out the second day and I thought, you know what, that tree over there, I need that tree needs to be cut down. I think I'll go over there 5 times over there. And the next day I thought, oh my gosh, I think that tree over here 5 times. And here we are. When it's all done, I'm not going to cut any trees down. I'm just going to have a bunch of scarred trees in my backyard. And that's exactly what happens to people. They get distracted. What you focus on expands. And so therefore, for me to understand my everyday essentials, I've got to know what I want to accomplish. I've got to have the right tool. I've got to take action, and I have to stay focused. I have to stay focused. Now there's one other thing, and then you've got the story, and now I can build off of the story and help you really lead yourself well and get your everyday essentials down really pat. The last thing, and this one's so missed. Oh gosh, I never hear anybody hardly talk about this, but it's so essential. Number 5, you have to be consistent. There was a word I used a dozen times in the story. Every day. Every day. Every day I go out in my backyard, and every day I pick up my axe, and every day I take action. I swing 5 times. Every day I stay focused on the same. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Now I'm 73, and you're just going to have to trust me on this. Consistency compounds. It just does. And I know in our, get rich culture quickly, and I got to have it now. I understand this goes completely against the culture and everything else that we basically have probably been involved in our daily routines. But I just want you to know that consistency compounds, and there's an incredible return if you stay with something that really works. The 5 things that I'm going to give you in a moment, if you just stay with them. And the challenge, obviously, with consistency is, well, there's nothing sexy about it. So let's start there. I mean, who wants to go get a consistency award? And you can't get that the first week. I mean, at the end of the first week, somebody doesn't say, wow, here, we got a consistency. No, it doesn't show up the first week, first month, first year, first 5 years. You see that here's the thing you just don't want to miss about consistency. All the compounding is on the back end. All the compounding, not some of it. All the compounding is on the back end. I had an interesting conversation with Tyler Perry, and he was talking to me about his business, of course, which is entertainment. And he was saying, John, when I started off, I wanted to be a director, so I needed to have a studio. So I built a studio. Of course, he was fabulous and did well, so he outgrew that studio. So he built a second studio and outgrew it. And he said, then I said, okay, my gosh, I don't want to do this again. So he said, I built the biggest studio I could even think of. Studios, complexes, place to make movies, the whole deal. He said, well, man, thank God I got that behind my back. He said, John, we outgrew it. And he said, honestly, I wanted to stop right there. I said, I don't want to do another studio. How many of these do I have to build? And he said, for 3 years, I just kind of pushed it. No, don't want to do it. In fact, he said, one day I came to the realization that I could not grow to the next level until I had the facilities I need. So he said, I started all again. And so we had this interesting conversation. In fact, we were back in the green room before we were going to get ready to go out on a program. And then when he finished it, I said, Tyler, I said, let me just see if this makes sense to you. And here's what I don't want you to miss. When you can afford to quit, you can't afford to quit. When you're on the back end of the compounding, I mean, people say, I'm 73. They say, John, why don't you retire? Well, I don't want to retire. I love what I do. I love what I'm doing with you today, Eric. I love sharing. I love helping people. I love adding value to people. But when people come to me, they say, well, John, why don't you quit? Well, I don't want to quit. Now here's what's huge. If I quit now, my return every day is compounding huge now in my life. I mean, when you have 83 books, you don't need to worry about royalties. I mean, I don't have to, I mean, it's just the old meters clicking all the time. And I'm a dream come true for any publisher because I don't even have to market my stuff. It just keeps growing and keeps on. So here's the point. When I quit now, whatever I don't do tomorrow, well, it's going to have a huge gain for me because of the compounding of consistency. In fact, I'm telling people, if you're going to quit, if you're going to get in the business and you're going to quit, why don't you quit the first week? Just quit the first week. You don't have anything. Hey, you're not going to get any return on it. I mean, just quit. Just quit and walk away. And somebody said, "You lose anything?" No, didn't lose anything. Why didn't lose anything? Hadn't put anything in it yet. Hadn't given it enough time. So if you're going to quit quick, quit early. You know what I mean? And then you never lost a whole bunch. But here's what I do know. If you stay with it, in the beginning, it works like this. In the beginning, I'm not as bad as people think I am. I'm out there trying and I'm not doing really well. And I'm having more misses than hits, that's for sure. In the beginning, I mean, I tell people all the time, you're never good the first time. So get it over with. Get over it because you just got to. So in the beginning, I'm not as bad as people are, but can I tell you at 73, Eric, today, I'm not as good as people think I am. I mean, I'm just clipping coupons. Everybody's going around getting amazed and just saying, "Dear God, John, look at all the things you're getting accomplished in your 7 companies and your enterprise and the whole." No. Can I tell you something? I'm on the back end of the compounding now. And that's what I want you to understand. That those 5 things, if I know what I want to accomplish, have the right tool, take action, stay focused, and be consistent. If I can do those 5 things, now I'm ready to talk to you about leading yourself. Now I'm ready to say, okay, now what does that mean? What that means is there are 5 areas. And I call them the Power 5 because, again, there's a huge power return to you in it. And there are 5 things that if you do that in this business, I will promise you, you will excel. So let me give them to you quickly. Number 1 is personal growth, personal development. It all begins with the fact that I am willing to invest in me. And by the way, no one should invest in you until you first invest in you. I have people all the time saying, "John, would you sponsor me?" No. Sponsor yourself. Now, let me tell you something. The moment that I see you're serious and you're able to put money into the game and you're able to put some skin in the game, I'll come right alongside of you. But I have no interest at all, no interest in getting you started. You got to bet on yourself. And this whole process of personal growth is the greatest investment that you will ever make in your life. One of the things I love about direct marketing organizations is their emphasis on personal growth and development. You know what? Everywhere I travel the world, whether the people are in that business or out of that business, when I see somebody that's in personal growth, I can promise you 90% of the time they'll say, "I got started in a direct marketing company. And they got me reading the right books and they began to get me the right resources and the digital products. And all of a sudden I took off." And so what I'm saying to you is, okay, here's what you got to understand. The only way you can grow your organization is to grow yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. And it's never happened in the history of mankind where somebody grew a business bigger than them. You know that when I teach the laws of leadership, it's the law of the lid. And whatever my lid is, that's going to be the potential of my growth. Well, the only way that I can move that lid up is to continually, consistently, intentionally develop and grow. So I'm saying to you, very simple. Every day you've got to invest in yourself. My father just passed away on July 4th of this year. He was 98. In fact, next week he would have been 99. And he was an amazing, amazing man. And literally up until 95, every day, he worked full time up through 95. But he was constantly learning, constantly growing, Constantly we'd get together and say, now, John, here's what, and he was just like a new kid. He was just like a kid. Now what I'm just saying to you, every one of you, is that whatever your limitation is, that'll become the limitation of your people. Wherever you stop, that's where the people stop. So they need an example. Talk about leaders. They need an example. They need a model of personal growth and personal development. That's one. So lead yourself by intentionally, personally growing every day. I'm 73. I'm growing more than I ever have personally. I thrive on growth and development of myself. I love and the learning, and I still am curious about how can I improve myself and how can I get better. I'm still asking questions. Okay. The second area is this is huge, is the ability to connect with people. You are in the major people business, and your people skills are going to determine how successful you are. And just because of sake of time, I mean, my gosh, you and I could, Eric, go for a day on this. But on connecting with people, don't miss this one. So let me just simplify it. Okay, my name's John. I'm your friend. I try to make it easy. Try to simplify. It's because I need it for myself. I'm not very smart. Okay, here's how this works. Don't miss this. You and I are either a plus in people's lives, or we're a minus in people's lives. It's just that simple. Every day, I'm either adding value to people, or, to be honest with you, I'm kind of taking value from people. I'm either a giver or a receiver. And people with great people skills, when people say, well, what kind of personality I need to have and what kind of set of relational skills, I started saying, let me explain something right now. Very simple. Every day, intentionally add value to people every day. If you will just do that, your people skills will go through the top. Trust me, because people migrate to people that add value to them. I do, you do, we all do. And when somebody's going to be a plus in my life, wow, I'm looking for it. In fact, it's just this simple. I knew I was going to be with you today, Eric. And since I knew I was going to be with you today, I've been so excited because you're a plus. You're a plus. You're a plus in my life. You're a plus in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people's lives. You're a plus. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows that if they get to Eric, you're going to add value to their life. That's a fact. That's, and so what do? We migrate to you. There's a reason why you have so many people migrate to you. There's a reason why so many people listen to you and you influence. There's a reason that you're a plus. And the day that you're not a plus, and the day that I'm not a plus, when I start living for myself and not for others, and wanting people to add value to me instead of me first initially adding value to them, let me tell you something, my crowd will shrink until I'll be with myself. The ability to lead yourself in personal growth, the ability to lead yourself in intentionally connecting and adding value to people. Number three is mindset. It's now we're talking about how I think. Again, back to my father and his illustrations, I still remember a conversation many, many years ago. In fact, it was my dad and mom's 50th anniversary. Wow, I think before mom died, I think they've been married 67 years, I believe. But anyway, it's our 50th anniversary. We're in Hawaii, all of our extended family. And I said, Dad, your attitude, your mindset. I mean, my father was mentored by Norman Vincent Peale. And when I was in the 7th grade, Eric, he took me to Columbus, Ohio, to Veterans Memorial Auditorium to meet Norman Vincent Peale. And he spoke there at a convention, and then we had some time with him, and made a life impact on my life. Well, my dad has this incredible mindset, and so I was talking to him about it, and he said, John, he says the greatest gap between successful and unsuccessful people is how they think. He said, if I could do one thing for people, I would go and I would work on their mind. As a person thinks within their heart, within their mind, so they become. And I am right now today where my thoughts have taken me. And so every one of you that are watching, listening, It's the same for you. So the ability to live on the other side of yes. In fact, Eric, I remember a conversation you and I have. I'll never forget it. In fact, you were talking and I stopped and I put on my iPhone immediately because it was so good. You were talking about, because you live on the other side of yes. Okay. You got this mindset, this opportunity mindset. And we were talking one time and you said to me, John, I've stolen it, by the way. I have stolen this and this really works. He said, he said, what I do is I say yes, tell the world, and then figure it out. And I mean, I'm going, yeah, say yes, tell the world, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to do. And then I got to say, oh my gosh, now, how am I going to make this happen? Well, I tell people all the time, you've got to live on the other side of yes, because that's where all the possibilities are. And again, and this is huge. During COVID-19, 5 years from now, the question I would want to ask people more than the other question is, what did you do in COVID-19 to improve your life and improve the life of others? And I will promise you, the great divider right now are the people that have just basically become victims of this situation that we're in and said, oh my gosh, and I think I need to watch Netflix, and where are the potato chips, and oh my gosh, and the people who say, okay, this isn't what I like, this isn't what I expected, but I got to figure it out now. I will promise you, these days make us or break us, and it's our spirit, our mindset, our attitude that does it. COVID-19 doesn't make you or break you. I cannot control what happens to me, but I can control what happens within me. And it's the mindset. So when we're thinking about the power of 5, okay, my growth matters, my ability to connect people matters, my mindset matters, and of course, number 4. I mean, I'm going to say this: leading matters. Leading matters. And by the way, every one of you that are with me, you're leaders. And this is what I try to help people understand. If you influence people, you lead people, because that's what leadership is. It's influence. It's nothing more and it's nothing less. And so your goal in life is to increase your influence with people. Now, you cannot lead people further than you're willing to go yourself. And so the question is, can I, which is my ability, and will I, which is my attitude, how much will I commit myself to development and personal growth? There's a reason I teach leadership. I started almost now 50 years ago. And the reason, that's a long time, isn't it? Gosh. And the reason I started was very simple. I came to the conclusion in my early 20s that everything rises and falls on leadership. I bought into that hook, line, and sinker, that leadership makes a difference. Good leadership tilts the scale positively, bad leadership tilts the scale negatively, but everything rises and falls on leadership. When I became convinced of that truth, that's when I gave myself my whole life and my mission to teaching that. Because if that's the case, if leadership is the key, then the better I lead and the more I learn to lead, the better that I'm going to become. And I heard Earl Nightingale say that if you'll spend 1 hour a day, every day, on the same subject for 5 years, you'll become an expert on the subject. And I was in my 20s and I said, I want to be an expert in leadership. And so I literally spent 1 hour a day, every day, on the subject of leadership. Sometimes I was practicing leadership. Sometimes I was asking leadership questions. Sometimes I was talking to leaders. Sometimes I was doing some leadership experiments, but leading every day. Now, here's what's interesting. Because Earl Nightingale said 5 years I could become an expert, and I thought, okay, in 5 years I'm going to become a leadership expert. Now, that did not happen. Okay. That's why I'm still in the leadership. I discovered something, but let me tell you that in a moment. So I started off my 5 years, an hour every day on leadership, and I'm like Cape Canaveral. Okay, year one's done 5, 4, 3. I'm kind of doing a countdown. Oh, wow, I'm getting closer. Experts coming, expert day. And about halfway through that, Eric, there was a change within me. I was now beginning to really love and learn and develop my leadership skills, and I was getting good. I was getting really good. And here's what happens. The moment your growth allows you to get good, you stop asking the question, how long will it take? That no longer is an interest to you at all. And you start asking the question, how far can I go? How far can I go? And I started saying, in this leadership stuff, how far can I go? Now, what's interesting is, I don't know. I've not arrived there yet. I'm still learning about leadership. The reason I've written 80 some books is because when I wrote my first leadership book, Eric, I thought, okay, I wrote my leadership book. I'm done with that. Put that to bed. Now what will I do? And then I kept leading. I thought, oh my, I didn't realize this. And oh, wow. This is a topic on leadership I've got to explore. And see, the more you know you don't know. And the more you don't know, the more you want to know what you don't know. So it's never, and so there's no finish line. In fact, I have a list of books I'm going to write. Literally, I already have, if I get all of them written, it'll be over 100. I mean, because I got my list. And one of the books I want to write is a book I'm going to call, Is There a Finish Line? And the thesis of the book is, for some people, the answer is yes. And for some people, the answer is no. And for those who say, yes, there's a finish line, I'm going to retire when I'm 65 or whatever, they cross their line. Now, the problem is when you cross your finish line, this is kind of like an IQ test after a while. The problem is once I cross the finish line, I'm finished. What's so great about that? I know all kinds of people, they're finished. They still have possibilities and good years and they're finished. And I just look at them and think, wow, they're already dead. They just haven't made it official. You see, I don't think there is a finish line. I don't. I think that we were created to grow and add value and get better and expand and reach our potential. And I believe that we just keep doing that. I think the ideal death is that you were still running. You're still running. Yeah. I don't even have a desire to cross a finish line. I play an infinite game, not a finite game. By the way, Simon Sinek wrote a great book. He's a good friend of mine, called The Infinite Game. Fabulous book. Now, enough of that. So if I've got to close this out. Okay. I've got to be growing personally. I've got to be connecting with people. I've got to have the right mindset. I've got to be expanding my leadership. And number 5 is significance. I have to get beyond success to significance. Now, by the way, I'm all for success. So, you cannot give what you do not have. So get successful. In fact, the credibility of a leader is success. I mean, when you think about it for a moment, who wants to follow somebody that's a failure? I mean, no one ever got out and said, man, if I could just get on a team with a loser, I could really do good. No. My success gives me the credibility and people the appetite to follow my leadership. So, but there's something beyond success. And that what I want to say in closing is, in fact, I know a lot of people, very successful people, that they're very unhappy with their life. But significance, see, success is about me. All the stuff I've got, my houses, my plane, my cars, nothing wrong with stuff. I'm not anti-stuff. I'm just saying it's pretty much about me, about my companies, my John Maxwell Enterprises, my books, my. Significance is all about you. And I tell people, if you really want to have a great life, forget yourself. Honestly, just get over yourself. How long will it take for you to get over yourself? You see, I can't help people until I get over me. But the moment that I say, okay, I'm proud of my successes, I'm very grateful for them, but now I've got to add value to people. I've got to intentionally make a difference in people's life. I've met a lot of successful people that were unhappy, but I've never ever one time met a person of significance that was unhappy. Not one time have I ever met that person. In fact, you and I were talking earlier, Eric. I have a book that'll come out the end of January called Change Your World. And it's when you say how many books have I written, 80 some, but I can tell you that book, that's me. I can die now. I can die now because that book is who John Maxwell is and who I believe people want to become. I think we all want to make a difference and change our world. But that's for another day. Perhaps we can do that some other time together. If we can, that'd be great. But the point being, if you could do those 5, that's the power of 5: the ability to personally grow, the ability to connect with other people, the ability to have the right mindset, think right, lead well, and grow as a leader, and live a life of significance. Those are the everyday essentials, I think, that make a person successful. And I hope I've helped. That's why I came to be with you.
John, come on, you help all the time. Here, let me say a couple things. First of all, the Change Your World comes out in January, and let's, as a community, let's help John get that onto the bestseller list faster than ever before. We know already it's going to be a bestseller, but there's a link that we'll put up on the screen, cywbook.com. You can go and pre-order that book. I believe him when he says it's going to be the one of the big defining books of his career. And also the Power of 5 is another book that I would recommend that you get of John's. Go to Amazon.com and get that Power of 5 book. That will help you grow your network marketing